Welcome to the very first episode of The Witch, the Bitch, and the Sage. We are very excited. Yay! I'm Elle Witchy,
I'm the Empress.
And I'm Kim.
and we are no experts, just three vastly different women from three vastly different backgrounds, giving three diverse perspectives on life and spirituality. Woo!
Let's go.
I'm so excited. Thank you for joining us. Since this is our first episode, we just want to introduce ourselves, give you a little bit of background on us, and just kind of explain how we kind of had our awakenings and stumbled into this. Um, we are going to kick it off with Kim.
Welcome.
Yay!
I'm Kim. I'm Kim. I am a 54-year-old mother of two children in their 30s. I'm also a widow. My husband died almost 4 years ago. We were married 28 years. I want to point out that I had three children and I had a son that passed away. I'm bringing that up because I'm sure that'll come up on my spirituality journey. I've mostly lived in the DC area, but about 2 years ago, I moved outside of Pittsburgh. So I've been here for almost 2 years. I am a Virgo. I know my sign very well, but I don't know my astrological chart. So that's for other people. That's not in my wheelhouse. I'm not religious at all. I've never subscribed. I was christened as a child and never attended church after that. I did have 2 terrible years in Catholic school, and that sort of solidified my anti religion. Um, I am deeply spiritual. That's been about a 5 year journey for me. I am also currently a life coach and a Reiki practitioner. And my life coaching is for helping women to awaken to their true power. I deal in energy and helping women awaken. That's what I do. Over 5 years ago, my spiritual journey began. I got sober. That was something I needed to do, something I did, and something I continue to do in recovery every single day. I got sober from alcohol. And while I was away and got sober, my head started to get clear. I started thinking and asking some different questions. So, because I knew I couldn't do all this on my own, I recruited some folks. So, I have a really nice spiritual team of some sophisticated ladies. I have two Reiki masters, an energy attuner, a spiritual acupuncturist, and I've done years of cognitive therapy. So, that has helped me with my spiritual awakening. I want to tell you how I met these ladies. I met Elle Witchy about a year ago on TikTok. Thank you, TikTok. Um, she was a
Great
tarot reader.
job.
I ended up on one of her videos, and I really I resonated with her. She has an enormous heart and a fiery mouth, and I love that about her. I
Sure.
resonate with people who are truly authentic, and Elle Witchy is definitely that. Um, then through Elle, I met the Empress. And I don't know her as well as I know Elle, but here's what I'll tell you. She has deep rooted spiritual beliefs and a laugh that'll warm your heart. So I think we're going to get some good
Mhm.
perspective from all three of us. If I was to describe myself, I would say I'm fair but firm. The firmness sometimes makes people think that maybe I'm a bitch. I'm not. But I do speak very succinctly and I don't dilute the truth. Also, I have a wicked sense of humor. I'm sure you'll see that in upcoming episodes. And I would say something else about me is I'm incredibly courageous. I don't give up. I've had a lot in my life that has knocked me down and almost taken me out. And I refuse to give up. And I like snacks, all the snacks, snacks. I have snacks here. I'll have snacks in every episode. Um, and that's a little bit about me.
That's awesome.
That
Oh,
is great.
yeah.
That's great, Kim. Well, I guess it's my turn. I'm
Oh,
the Empress.
wait. No,
Oh,
no, no. I gotta
what?
raise my hand. Okay, I do have
What
some
you got?
questions. Okay,
Oh,
first
go
off,
ahead.
do you have any pictures of the christening from when you were a baby?
Do I? I think I could
That is
find
great.
one for certain.
I
You
need to
definitely have
see
to
I
find
need to
it.
see a baby Kim in a gown, in a white gown, getting dipped. I gotta see that.
It was
That's what
probably
happened.
the only time I've let somebody dip me.
Yeah, I believe it.
You know what though? If I wanted to see a picture though, I think I would want to see you at the Catholic school in your uniform. That's the one I want to see.
Those were dark
Yeah.
days. Those
Oh
were dark
yeah.
days.
What was the worst? What
And
was the
nobody's
worst
ever
part?
told me what to wear again since then either.
I know that's right.
I-
I know that's right.
That's too
Oh
funny.
boy.
So,
I have a question, but mine is probably like really, probably going to be a really in depth answer because
go for it.
I would like to hear some of the things that you did in cognitive therapy.
I can tell you a little bit about my experience in cognitive therapy.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
fantastic. It's fantastic if you're honest. And I would reckon to say a lot of people that go into therapy aren't very honest with themselves, first of all, so they can't even speak the truth. So I've done therapy for years. After my son died, I did it. But I wasn't very honest. I didn't know myself. I was at a loss, you know. But the older I've gotten, and certainly when I got sober, I could be more honest. Once you're honest, for me, cognitive therapy is for me hearing my thoughts out loud with an unbiased person who's got no skin in the game to help me sort my thoughts. Not tell me what to do, not necessarily give me advice, help me sort what's going on. I've also done EMDR, and that was really helpful too. That helped reshape some stories I had told myself. But I did
Yeah.
cognitive therapy
Can,
intensely after I got sober for 3.5 years. I can't even talk about the therapy I've done before then because, again, I wasn't very honest. And when I was drinking, I was usually trying to get what I wanted. I wanted everybody to agree with my story. You know, if this was your life, you would do what I
yeah.
that was not very honest
Yeah.
therapy. So the last 3.5 years, in the last 5, that was the real therapy for me.
I think Elle was going to ask
I
the
got a
same
question.
thing I was, the
What is,
EDMR.
yeah, what is that?
Yeah, for listeners
Yeah,
who aren't
Oh,
familiar.
yeah,
well,
what is
again,
that?
I'm no expert, but here's how a very elementary understanding. It's a connection between the left side and the right side of the brain. Okay. So they will stimulate you via light, sound, finger tapping,
Mhm.
to start activating the left and the right side of the brain. Then they guide you to, like, I don't know, a story or how your thought process. And for me, it helped me, um, clear out the noise around these
Mm-hmm.
individual things and bring it all into something that I could understand better. I don't know if that makes sense, but again, I'm not an
Mhm.
expert, but that was my experience.
Cool.
Center focus. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I
Awesome.
did not know that.
Okay. You
Um,
learn something new every
yeah, hell yeah, that's the whole
day.
point. Oh, but
Exactly.
I got one more
What's your
question.
name?
Why two Reiki masters? What do you use them for different things? Do they do like just curious?
Well, where my spiritual beliefs come from, if you're really open and willing to make some changes in your life, the right people tend to show up if you're paying
Mhm.
attention. So my first
Mm-hmm.
Reiki master I met in treatment. They offered that as a service. It was a lovely place, and I walked in, looked. She took one look at me, and she backed up into the wall. My energy apparently was very overpowering. I was a mess.
Mm.
Um, and she said to me after that, she says, I don't say this very often, but I think we're going to be really good friends. And I was like, God, I don't have any friends. I've ruined everything and burned it down. Sure, you can be my friend. I don't know anything about you. Please be my friend. And but, 5.5 years later, she's one of my closest friends and she's helped me. She helped me encourage me to become a Reiki practitioner. But then after that, you meet other people who are
Hmm.
in spirituality and who do that. So
Mm-hmm.
I really got in touch with this woman who was in San Antonio through a friend. And she does a lot of my energy attunements. And she's also a Reiki master. And I think just for me, I like variety.
Hmm.
So, if I'm only talking to Elle Witchy all day long, I only ever get Elle Witchy's perspective. So I like the idea of having a menu of people that you
Yep.
can talk to and explore with. So that's why I have two.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's cool.
That's actually a great reason,
Well,
in
the
my
thing is,
opinion.
yeah, well, the thing is that like tarot, like sometimes people will be like, I know I went to see this other tarot read. I'm like, I'm not offended or anything. Like, I understand that. Like, you have like people give different messages in different ways. That's why I was asking. Was honestly when you said the two, I was like, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ah,
Pretty
all
good.
right, Empress, you're up.
Hi, I'm up. All right. Well, I'm the Empress, but you can just call me
Sorry.
Empress. Um, I'm 49 years of age in this realm. But in my world, I'm a celestial goddess that's ageless and timeless. Um, so that is the last time I will repeat that number. I don't like counting because on the inside, my spirit and my mind don't feel the same age. So there's like a disconnect a little bit.
Is there like a
So
conflict? Sorry.
yeah, a little bit of a not a conflict, but more of a disconnect. I try to keep the internal conflicts out, so just a little bit of a disconnect. And plus, I don't believe in time, so that's why I don't count the birthdays. Really, it's just for Social Security purposes. Um, I'm a wife of one, mother of two, friend of many. I'm my mom's oldest or only child, but I'm my dad's eldest out of three, and we're all girls. Um, I'm originally from Washington D.C., but yeah, I live in North Carolina now, and I think this is going to be the place that I stay forever. I I love it here. I love DC too, but I think I'm a city girl that belongs in the country. Virgo stellium, Sun, Moon, and Mercury. So sometimes I drive my own self crazy. What that means is, because Virgos get a bad rap sometimes, Kim, don't they? What that means is I am the prickliest, sometimes construed as rude, meanest, nicest, kindest person you'll ever meet in your life. Period. What else? What else? What else? As far as the spirituality goes, I always say I'm pretty sure I was born awake. Always felt different, always treated differently. Most of the time, not in a positive way, but that was okay. I didn't mind the loneliness because I didn't look at it as loneliness. I looked at it as solitude, which I enjoyed. So growing up, being raised religious, but never been religious ever. I'm with Kim on that. Pentecostal holiness on my mom's side and African Methodist Episcopalian on my dad's side. I probably spent more time in church when I was little than I did in school and still somehow not religious. My I think the pivotal moment in my journey for spirituality, because like I said, I've always been awake, but I believe the pivotal moment was when I finally decided to start letting my religious family know up front when the conversations happened. Like, well, sorry, I don't subscribe to that. But you feel free to continue to do that. But that is not what I subscribe to. And being able to have the conversations with them and being okay with them saying, revelation stuff to me. So that was my pivotal moment. And I've just been trying to grow and learn ever since and just keep a balance in my holy trinity, my mind, body, and spirit. And that's been my journey. That's where I'm at.
Ooh,
That's
ooh.
awesome.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'm curious. You said what you feel like you were born awake. Like I too felt very different as a kid. I was certainly like the black sheep of the family, and nobody knew what to do with me. Um, but I never felt awake until I had my awakening. So what made you think, even from a young age, that you were awake?
So, well, there are things that people said to me later on, but when I was younger, like saying, hey, you were always like this or you're always doing this. And I'm like, really? Didn't really pay attention. Like, I'm just going about my life, one foot in front of the other. But I never attuned to any social structures when I was little, even school. Like, I can't even tell you when I started skipping school. It was so early. I started skipping school in elementary school because I just didn't believe, because I just, the structure of how everything is set up, I never bought into it, and I never apologized for it. And I was always told that you're going to jail or you're going to hell, or but none of this ever made sense to me, ever. And I decided early on when I could walk and talk and make decisions. Well, even though I wasn't supposed to be making decisions for myself, but I was able to cognitively make own my mind up about certain things. And I'm talking at the age 5 or 6. I don't care who
Mm.
you are. I'm gonna. This is what I feel, and this is what I'm gonna do. Which is why I had battles with my parents a lot. But
You
that's
know,
how I knew.
it sounds to me, well, like it might be similar, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have always considered myself a bit of a nonconformist.
Mm-hmm.
Not because
Mm-hmm.
I decided when I was two to be a nonconformist. It's just like my innate soul nature rebuked the systems.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
rebuked.
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't enjoy school, but I think it was a matter of I wasn't, they couldn't stimulate me. It was really
That
hard.
that
Religion
yeah.
didn't resonate with me. Those rules and the way I was treated was just so ungodly, in my opinion. So,
Mm.
I just,
Yes.
I've never liked being told what to do on any circumstances. So systems feel very confining to me. So I think it's really cool that you had that understanding about yourself at that age, because I only listened to what people told me about me,
No.
not what I
I
really
did.
knew about me.
Now, don't get me wrong. I paid the price
Mm.
for it. I paid the price for it, but I continue to do it because conforming, paying the price was less painful than actually conforming because it
Mm.
literally hurt my insides.
Yeah, you probably didn't even know at the time that the reason you didn't like it was because you were abandoning yourself if you did that, if you conformed. And I feel that really strongly about myself now, looking back, that this thing that I thought I had just discovered about me 5 years ago has been there for 54 years. So, you too,
Amen.
like when I look back at my life, I can see how this spirituality was trying to crawl its way out of me
Yep.
and help me remember. But
Who you are.
it took what it took what it took. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
it took getting sober to do that.
Mm. Okay.
You had a question,
I
Ange?
have a question for both of you, but I'm going to
Okay.
ask Kim first because
Okay.
I'm very, very intrigued. This is like an honest, you and you and I, well, all of us, married, been married, you are a widow, whatnot. You said that you don't like conformities. How did you feel about marriage? Like, were you okay with that? Like, I'm just curious, since that's
Well,
such a conformity.
we may be getting a little bit ahead, but I'll go ahead and share that I did not feel very loved as a child. So, and I won't blame anybody for that. That's just how I
Mhm.
felt. So, love was incredibly important to me, but my very young version of what love was, right? So, I wanted to get married. Are you kidding me? I thought that was the thing that was going to complete me, and somebody was going to choose me and love me. And the first time I got married, he chose the hell out of me, and I could not. And I thought there was something wrong with me, nicest guy on the planet. And then I met Keith, flipped my world upside down, and 28 years later, we were together. And I am not saying that that was a glorious,
Mm.
peaceful, rainbows and unicorns kind of marriage, but it was very passionate. We loved each other very much. But through that whole marriage, the only struggle I never had a problem being faithful or loving him. I chased him for 28 years. I
Uh,
chased him. I wanted him to complete me. I wanted him to love me. I wanted him to compliment me. I wanted him to fix me. I wanted him to save me. So I was all in on marriage.
okay. I just wasn't sure.
Unfortunately, I never got saved. I
No.
saved me.
Well, yeah,
And that's how it
yeah,
works. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. I was gonna say, yeah, well, yeah, yeah. That's literally now. Thank you. I was genuinely curious. I was like, oh shit, because that's like, I actually like just FYI. I've been married twice. I've been engaged once. I actually never wanted to get married at all. My shit, um, not manifested, but it settled in as hyper independence, but yet still a relationship person. It was weird. My shit flipped. Neither here nor there. But I never wanted to get married. But I do love my husband. um,
I don't know
So.
that, I'll tell you this. I don't know that in this day and age, for me, I would ever get married again. I mean, I don't
oh,
know that. I mean,
oh,
the right person comes along and everything
twice is
works and we're
sufficient.
aligned. But I don't think with what I've done in my life, raised a family, had a career, bought a couple, I
Yeah.
don't see where marriage is I'm not chasing it anymore. Put it that way.
Oh no, that's fair.
I
Twice
get
as fun
that.
for me.
So I've only been married once. I'm still married. Um, God, just gonna sound so weird. So I got married. I had my kids first. So I have two kids. They're 20. How old are my kids? They're 26 and 27. So I have two kids. Um, we didn't get married until they were almost. I think they were like 7 and 8 or 8 and 9, something like. I think they were 7 and 8 when I got married. I pressed hard to get married, mostly when the kids started school, just because in my mind it would be easier as far as the paperwork,
I
all
was
the
literally gonna say
forms and the
legally,
clubs.
absolutely.
It's like, and then the kids like, why is your last name different?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and for me and my husband, we and I'm with Kim. Like, marriage is compromise. It's not always rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes the shit gets muddy. So put on your boots, strap them up, and let's go.
Yep.
But we had again, very passionate. So first date, been together ever since. Now, mind you, there've been some, hiccups along the road, but first date, it was, and then by month 2 or 3, he's introducing me as his wifey, and probably because I was already pregnant. So, so yeah. And I don't know if he'll be mad about this, but probably when like I said, when they started school, I really started pushing for marriage, and in his mind, because he really is a provider. He is a provider, let me tell you. So in his mind, he's like, oh, I can't marry her until I can provide. Like, I can, because it's official. And I'm like, well, we already got 2 kids. You providing now. Like, work that shit out in your head. So
The time for
it
that
took him,
has sailed.
yeah. So it took like 3 or 4 years, and he finally, and the proposal was beautiful. It was magical, all that other
I've
stuff.
never heard how you got proposed to. I mean,
First of all, I got proposed to 3 times by the same man that I'm married to. That's a whole nother episode.
yeah.
But Virgo in me just, and I've grown since, but out of spite, I will confess, it took me 2 years after that to legally. Now, I told the school my last name was Evans, but it took me 2 years to legally change it.
Dude, no,
And
that's not. Man, are you crazy? My registration is still in my maiden name.
well, it's a bear to do all the documents. It's your
Dude, I've
social
been married
security
for six.
card,
I've been
driver's
married for 6 years.
license,
I got yeah.
emails.
Well, we got married December 2019, so right before the world shut down. So I literally have
Oh,
open-ended shit. So I'm just saying, like, I understand. It's still in my maiden name. Oh,
well, I did it as a lesson. I'm
no,
just
fair
going to
enough.
put it out there.
Yeah, fair.
But we're past that now. So,
Yeah.
look, 28 years later, here we are.
Yeah. All right. Oh,
You
and then
said 28 years you've been together?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
28
met
years
in,
is how long Keith and I were married.
we keep
you
aligning
have,
on
and you
the
guys also,
numerology.
yeah, and you guys both have the DC in common, as well as Mr. Witchy is from Silver Springs, which is in that same like DC
It
area.
is. He only get that's the yellow line. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not from there, so I don't know. That's why I'm trying to be as like accurate as possible. So there, I was literally going to say that. I literally have it as a note. We all have a DC connection.
Everything aligns. We're in alignment with each other. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah,
beautiful. Oh, I
I,
didn't say how I knew you. I met Elle Witchy through my husband. They used to work together. We won't say how long ago, but it's been it's been a long
it's
time ago.
it's over a decade. I was
It's
gonna
over a decade ago.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna refer
we
to him as my brother from another mother.
yes, that is her brother from another mother, and Elle Witchy and I got really close. Just like-mindedness, like Kim said. I really do enjoy her upfrontness, her bluntness, because that's my love language. I don't like to have to try to guess what you're thinking or saying. I don't want to. I can infer, but I prefer not to. and and I met Kim through Elle Witchy. And what I would like to say about Kim is I can immediately feel her Virgo spirit, which which makes me happy. Well, because not a lot of people understand Virgos. I feel like we get a bad rap. So, and
Try
I
being a
very rarely,
Gemini. They get bad rap too.
well,
Yeah.
you guys get a bad rap, but we get a bad rap like we're the devil incarnate. Like we like we came to bring the pain, and all we want is to try to make everything better. That's all we really want. So I love Kim's humor. First off,
Oh God, yeah.
I
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, I love her sarcastic humor and her smart mouth. It makes me giggle all the time. Like
It doesn't make everybody giggle.
it makes me giggle. I get your humor, Kim. I get your humor. Um, and I love her vulnerability, and I love her taking things head on.
Hmm.
Like as far as putting things out there instead of waiting for something to happen. Like, hey guys, this is what I like. This is what I need. These are my pet peeves. I love people like that. And so I just want to appreciate. I just want you to know I appreciate that spirit about you, Kim. I really do.
Thank
Like you
you.
have no idea.
You might be
You
one
really
of
do.
10 in the world, but thank you.
Well, I'm always on the unique list, so I don't mind.
That's okay.
And what about you, Elle? Which are you going to tell us about yourself?
Yes, yes. So I have no children. I'm a wife, currently married, been divorced. I am a mother of six. Um, um, I mean, which is fine. So, I don't even know why I'm trailing off on that shit.
A mother of
Uh,
6.
I'm a mother of six. I have two cats and four dogs. I am a Gemini. I have a big ass stellium. I won't go into that. I'm very air. On my chart, 75% air, so I'm always in my head, which is not. Where you talk about the Virgo shit, it's the same thing. Like people just don't like it when you're like, I'm very upfront and I could just kind of say stuff, and I have to sometimes learn to like kind of hold back because things that might sound mean and biting, it's like, it's not that. I'm just factual. But anyways, I was raised Baptist, but not religious at all. Went to church, never really made a lot of sense to me. So I was like, there's got to be something more. Um, I had two different awakenings at two different times. Um, when Kim, you talk about being very young and being awake, and Empress, when you're talking about being born awake, like I had that same thing. I was like seven. I remember I was in a car and I just felt very different. It was like really weird, just the way that I felt. Like it felt like strange. Like as an adult, the best way to describe it is being stoned. It was that same kind of like, but I didn't know at the time what it was or anything. Um, but I just knew that it was something weird and it kind of stayed with me. But now I know that was like an awakening. That was my soul coming online kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just kind of always kind of sat with that and kept it with me. And then about 3 years ago, well, okay, I've always been into tarot. I can tell you that um, some people know me from doing collective tarot readings on TikTok. I try to multiple times a week just do, air signs, like all the air, earth, all the elements. There we go. Um, so I've always been into tarot, but I wasn't always good at it. It took me a while to get there, but I always got drawn back to it. I mean, and I'll ask you guys about that if there's ever been any kind of things that you guys have been drawn to, like over the course of your life, even before you were spiritual. Um, and then, so anyway, so I've always had a tarot thing, have multiple decks, shit like that. But about 3 years ago, I decided to get a reading at a place here locally in North Carolina, which is where me and Empress reside currently. And it was weird. It was a very weird reading where it was like almost immediately I was lit up head to toe with goosebumps and they just refused to go away. And it didn't matter who was talking, but it was like I could feel the breaks in between. And it was a feeling that like I walked in as just, a muggle and I walked out with a sack full of crystals and I hopped on Amazon and bought I bought a witch set starter pack. I got my El Witchy starter pack and haven't looked back since.
Nice.
Uh, and then that's when I really started like kind of honing tarot and whatnot. And I used to do a lot of and I mean I'm sure there's definitely going to be an episode on tarot. There's no way, so I'll talk more about it then. But yeah, I mean, like I started doing readings for people and stuff and realized it was pretty good. And then I started saying like, hey, I didn't know if you could do collective, like who gets authorized from the divine to be able to do collective messages? I was like, is this a thing I could participate in or not? And I started pulling cards and realized the stories were different. And I was like, all right, cool. So this must be pulling something. And that's when I started actually posting. Um, and I mean, that's pretty much it. My spiritual awakening, though, because that was like how Witchy was born. But my spiritual awakening happened a couple of years ago where, the signs were everywhere. You started seeing the shit and you're like, this is weird. Why am I seeing these redundant numbers? And why do I keep seeing the same shit everywhere? And why am I seeing this? And it's like, even if I didn't know what it was, I knew there was something about it. And then, the synchronicities of just like coincidences you couldn't explain away to the point where I sit now and it's like when people are like, isn't this weird? And I'm like, I don't believe in coincidences. It's an ongoing thing. Anybody who knows me knows that. I always say, I don't believe in
No,
coincidences
you
because
always
they're
do
not.
say that.
Exactly. And that's really kind of how I started opening up on my spiritual awakening. And the biggest thing is that um, when this first started happening, I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what it was. I had no clue. It was very confusing. And the Empress is really one who helped guide me through it because she had gone through this prior to me. And at the time, I didn't know Kim. But once I met Kim and started understanding her and her powers and whatnot, and like what she had for abilities, she became a very trusted confidant for me where I would reach out. Like, I've reached out to these women about some of the craziest shit you've ever fucking heard. Stuff I will never admit to in public. Because it's because not everything's pretty and I saw something earlier where it's like it's not all everybody sitting around and rose petals and shit and no dude, it's like you feel fucking nuts. There's like there's shit like that happens and you're like, bitch, why do I feel this? What is this? Why is it? What's happening here? Like, these women have heard some of the weirdest shit ever that's come from me. And I always say the same thing. I'm like, well, crazy people don't know that they sound crazy. So if I'm telling you I know this sounds crazy, you gotta at least understand that I know this.
You know,
Um,
I,
yeah,
I want to say something real quick. When it comes to spiritual awakening, and I didn't allude to this when I was talking earlier, I feel like the reason why I want to do this podcast is because it was so hard to navigate that on my own.
yeah,
And I did elicit people because when you talk about feeling crazy, when every single thing you ever believed in gets flipped up on its end and you pull back and go, oh my God, I've been so programmed. I don't even know how to think for myself. It's like that's overwhelming, So I really think that, Empress helping Elle and each other, like that is what this is about. This is community,
hmm
fellowship, I don't care what you call it. We're women navigating spirituality together, differently, different journeys, but all still the same.
yep,
Supporting each other.
yes.
Yeah.
And I just want to add one thing. It's also crazy, like for me personally, like I have always known like that, man, like capitalism, man, shit like that. Like I've so even though I had seen like certain things, like again, I'm like not really buying into a lot of that. Like basically meaning I knew that there's like shit going on. I know I'm kind of getting screwed by, stuff like that. Anyways, it's still fucking scary when you're like, what the fuck is this? Like all this time, I thought I was supposed to be afraid of like ghosts and shit and stuff. Like personally, like I'm gonna be perfectly honest and like I always wanted to be a witch. I just wanted to move shit, make energy happen. I wanted to, have the life that I wanted, get that shit happen. Like the idea of being spiritual and like talking to the divine and shit and stuff like that. Like, I had no interest in that. Like, FYI, like I fucking did not. I want to stay with that shit. Scares me. Paranormal Activity, won't watch that. Scared as fuck. I don't do horror movies. Like that shit scares me. So the idea of like that stuff being behind the veil was always like, I have no interest in that. Like that's fucking scary. And it's like once you start seeing this shit, it's like, oh, I don't have a choice. Fucking, oh, here we go. And the thing is that it's once you sorry, in my opinion, what I've noticed is that what I thought it was versus what reality is two completely separate things. So even in my ignorance, going to what like what you were saying, Kim, if you don't fucking know, you don't know. It's the same thing. So it's like, oh shit, well let me fucking tell you what happened to me. Like so that way you can, and this is what I seen, this is what I thought it was, and this is what it is. It's like debunking some of that shit, like some of the stories that you hear that aren't like, it sounds a little weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's super important to know that spirituality, unlike religion, and thank God for that, it doesn't have a it doesn't have a script.
No,
It
there's
does.
no manual to
Spirituality
set.
doesn't say get up and give me 20, give me your money, and it's not even about the money, the rules, right? Spirituality doesn't say
In
that.
the religion, sometimes it is about the money. Just
No, I
saying.
know, but I'm not trying.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
ever want to be a person who debunks somebody else's beliefs because that
No.
ain't spiritual.
Mm-mm.
So if somebody is in their religion and it gives them comfort and faith and all that, I'm here
Exactly.
for it.
I've always
But
been like that
it
too.
just never resonated with me. And the soul, what I've come to know, has been tugging on me all this time. So when we go back, I'm sure we'll talk about this in episodes about, I can remember some weird experiences I had as a kid that I just sloughed off and told somebody and they
No.
didn't believe it. So, like, it's been
Mm-hmm.
tugging at me all my life. So, this is wonderful to be around like minded,
Yeah.
especially women. Um, and exploring this because I just want it to be easier for ladies. I really
Yeah.
do. And if men get on board, that's fine. I've never been a man. I don't know anything about the man experience.
They,
And, but
I deal with men too. I do readings for men and stuff and all kinds of, yeah. They're some of them, if they're in it, they're in it. Just like women, same thing. So, yep. Sorry.
I would like to help everyone. In between, in the middle, to the right, to the left. I want to help everyone. However, I do want to empower women. And the reason being, I'm not trying to single us out. However, we have been marginalized, um, taken for granted, eliminated. So
Yes.
I want us to remember how strong we are. I want us to remember the divine beauty and sacredness in us, and also that we are the species that reproduces life. So it's
Yeah.
important that we feel empowered. It's important that we feel supported. It's important for the next generations because, and we can get into the weeds of this on another episode, but when we're giving life, we're carrying trauma
Hmm.
while we're pregnant, but we're also carrying the trauma from our mother when she was pregnant with us. So now you're giving life to, and we have to, I just want us to not be so marginalized and taken for granted and just put at the bottom of the totem pole in this society. Well,
well,
kind
lady,
of
don't you
almost
worry
in the
about that.
world.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
don't worry about that, Empress, because the divine masculine is crumbling before us, and we'll go into what all that means at some other point. But me personally, I don't want to work with men. Yeah, maybe I got an attitude about it, but but listen, I love men. I love men. I've been married twice. I have two sons. I adore everybody. I've got men glittered all over my past, present, and probably my future. But when it comes to what
Mr.
I want to
TBD.
impart to women, I only have a woman's experience.
Yep.
That is
Period.
true.
So
That
Yep.
is
if
true.
we're saying we're not experts, but I know how to be a woman.
I
So
do
in
know how
that
to be a
respect,
woman. Yes.
I only want to work with women. However, I talk to men all the time. I'm in recovery. I'm with men that are in recovery, and we talk and we share, and sometimes we align. But listen, I can do anything, but I can't do everything. So women, I got your back. Men, go figure it out.
That's too funny. Okay, so I want to ask each of you ladies a question. So the question is, what does spirituality mean to you? Like, how would you define it? Just what does it mean to you, just in general?
All right, I guess I'll start. For me, spirituality is a feeling. Okay. When I am connected to myself, my higher self, what I believe in the universe, I do believe in a God, but not as a man, as man has created. I believe in spirit guides. So the feeling I have when I know that I am not alone, I don't die, I've been here before, I may come back again, that makes that feeling of sovereignty and possibility is incredible. But what does it mean? It means there's no rules. I have the freedom to move around as long as I do no harm. What's the big deal? It's kind of the golden rule, right? Just
Hmm.
do no harm. When I'm wrong, I admit it. When I'm not, it's just letting people do what they do, not enforcing my opinion on other people. I'll tell you my opinion, but spirituality, so to me, it's just like this. It's like a field of wildflowers. I can
Hmm.
take my pick of what I want. There's so much more I want to learn, so much more I want to explore. It's not just meditation and crystals and tarot and spells and things like that. It's a feeling of connectedness that I can't quite describe. And I have not ever had that in my life.
Love it.
That's
Empress?
kind of. I would piggyback off of what Kim said because I saw the question and I'm thinking to myself, nobody's actually asked me
Hmm.
to define it before, which I found shocking. I'm like, wow, nobody's actually asked me like to
Yep.
define it in my words what
Because
spirituality
Yeah.
is.
no man wrote a book on it yet.
Right. And then so then that got me thinking some more and then I started thinking, well hell, I ain't never asked myself the question. So I did. And I was kind of like Kim. I'm like, I don't even know if I have the words to define it because it's a feeling that cannot, for me, I don't know if we have the words in the language to describe it, except for the fact that when you practice it, whatever your spirituality will entail, because unlike religion, it's different for everyone, you feel so full inside, even when you could be at your lowest, but you
Hmm.
still feel full. Even when like in the 3D world, like what is that, Murphy's Law? Anything bad that can happen happens, and it does, but you're still sitting there and you still feel full. Like
Hmm.
to me, that is when you have the balance of the Holy Trinity. And my Holy Trinity is the mind, body, and soul.
Hmm.
So for me, what Kim said, spirituality, I guess, does have a lot to do with freedom. Freedom of this, freedom of your spirit, and freedom of your body, your autonomy.
Yep.
So if I had to describe it, yes, I would describe it just like she did. Freedom of your mind, body, and your spirit.
Excellent.
And what she said too, you don't impede nobody else's journey and you don't do no harm. And I will say, I talked to my mom one time when I was little, And I'm like, this whole Christianity, and they in my ear with the Bible hitting me in the head.
Yep.
Both grandmas in my ear, and my mom looked at me. I'll never forget. I had to be about, like, I don't know, like 8 or 9. My mom looked at me and she said, "Look here. Remember these two things. What goes around comes around, and treat other people like you want to be treated. If you remember those two things, you're going to be okay in this world." That's some of the
Yeah.
best advice that woman ever gave me.
Yeah,
You
I
know
believe
what?
it.
Some of the best advice I've ever given and I've ever received was simple. But what I've also come to learn, simple isn't easy.
No,
Simple's
not
never easy.
always. Simple's not always easy. No.
No, I get that. Um, so I have to, um, that question came about because that is actually a topic that gets kind of tossed around in here a lot. Mr. Witchy is, I would say he's spiritual. But he's not necessarily like into and like he's not into it or anything like that, and he's not religious, nothing like that nature. So he kind of lumps all of it into spirituality. And so he's always constantly talking to me about spirituality. And I'm like, I'm in it. And he's like, you're not though. And I was like, but I'm in it. And so for me, I had to think about it and the best way to kind of explain it. And this is just my opinion. Like, this is how I would define it is that like witchcraft is external. So I use tools to make things happen, shift energy. Spirituality to me is internal because a lot of it is boiling down to what you feel inside. What is it that you feel? What is your intuition telling you? What are your abilities and things of that nature? And that's why it varies from one person to another. It's very personal, but it's internal. It's between you and the divine. But that's how I would define it. So that's why I was like, all right, like I'd like to know what people's take are on that.
You know, it's funny, Elle, you said that you didn't really consider yourself spiritual. And as a matter of fact, at times you were kind of strayed away from it because it just didn't feel like something you wanted to be a part of. And I feel like that, that's just kind of like how it works, right? Like it's not a one size fits all, um, rules. We've all come into our spirituality different. um I just I just like that freedom, the do no harm, like I know people who are spiritual that don't meditate, right? I know people who are spiritual that think crystals are crazy. You know what I mean? You can be a spiritual human being if
Not
you
these.
understand that we are all, well, I have all those things too, as you
I
know.
know, I was just saying, like
I'm like I have all
not
my stuff
these.
here. I don't
Are we
know.
all?
You want to burn
Wait,
some sage
wait,
later?
hold
Yeah.
up. Are we
Sure.
all sharing
I see. How
crystals?
about
Hold on.
yeah? How about some mugwort? I got some mugwort. I got yeah.
You know,
That's
I
a
mean, I've got prayer
not
beads over
these.
here. You name it.
Oh, I'm
I mean,
wearing mine.
I've got
Yes,
lapis
ma'am.
lazuli.
No, yeah.
Yeah, look, we wearing
So
all of this.
so I really
Mr. Witchy
think
calls me
that,
Mr. T. He goes, "What, Mr. T? You and your bracelet." Sorry. Anyways, yes.
so I think that, again, I like the idea of there's not one way to do it. It's really about we're all connected. And again, that's another simple thing to say that isn't easy to grasp.
Hmm.
We are all connected, and we're not taught
Hmm.
that. We've been programmed. We can talk about programming on a whole other 50,000 episodes. But I like that freedom, that sovereignty of that, and I love being able to connect to another human being on a spiritual level regardless of what they're giving me.
Hmm.
That's freedom.
Yes, yes,
So
Absolutely.
yes.
I like it.
For sure, for sure, for
Okay,
sure.
so let's. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, we can go around and let's talk about three things. Three things about you, that you would like the audience to know. The watchers at home. What are
Well, I mean,
three
I
fun
can go.
facts?
I kind of covered that earlier. I'm a courageous person. I'm a nonconformist. I'm fair, but I'm firm. Um, those are things I can easily. I think people that know me for more than 5 minutes can say. And I also, in my life, I really try to create safe spaces for people. I think from whatever I've got in me that resonates out to another human. I mean, I've always been the person that people came to with their problems. I know a lot of people say that, but like it, it's just always been tugging at me.
Awesome.
Cool. Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. I wrote some stuff down. Well, because I didn't want to forget. I didn't want
I
to say
just,
just like, oh, well, I love to cook.
yeah.
I love to
I,
cook.
look, I love the
I
beach,
love to eat.
long walks in the mountains. Like, I didn't want to say
Long walks in the mountains.
that would be. I know I'm weird, right? Long walks in the
Yeah.
mountains.
Yeah.
Earth
I appreciate
sign.
it.
um, right. So I wrote some things down. Um, so one thing is about me that people should know. I seek clarity, not validation. So if I do something, say for instance, I cook you a dish and it's a new something I'm working on, and I'm like, hey, what did you think? I don't need you to be like, oh my God, Empress, this is the best whatever I ever had. No, I need to know specifically what you thought so that I can make any adjustments or tweaks or like, I'm looking for clarity, not validation. Because if I'm gonna do something, I already think that I can do it. So I don't need your validation to say, "Oh, great job." I'm gonna tell myself I did a great job. That's number one. Number two. Let's see. So I just learned that they have all these terms: autistic, ADHD, neurodivergent. Yeah, I think I'm on all of those.
I'm
So
a
I'm
few.
here. Me too.
I'm a
yeah, I'm
few.
a very sporadic as far as my thinking goes. However, I do appreciate structure and I like to lay down structure and foundation first. That way, whatever creativity comes next is not chaotic. So, that's an oxymoron that a lot of people can't always get down with me on because it seems confusing to them. Like, oh, how are you going to be creative and structured? Because I am. That's how they
Yeah.
built me. Um,
Listen,
and
I'm a Virgo. I am all about managing chaos. If it's chaotic, I
yes.
can't do it. If the cabinet doors are open, we got to shut them. If
Oh, girl, don't leave no cabinet doors open in my kitchen.
I mean, I'm just saying,
No.
I
Dude,
when I'm going to be
missing
creative,
caps. Yep. We've been
like
creative.
I love people who just decide, oh, I'm going to go paint a mural on this wall. I get that kind of inspiration too, and I do paint. But I have to plan it out. Okay, I want to make
Yes,
sure I have all the things that I
Hmm.
need. I think that's a little bit Virgo, but then I
exactly.
go and I can be very
Yeah, because
creative.
when I get in the process, I don't want to stop and be like, oh, damn, I don't have the supply, or I should have thought of that,
Dude.
or should have. So I make a
Yeah.
plan
Nothing.
for my
Yeah.
creativity so that it can flourish once it starts.
Yeah.
There's no cutoff point.
It's
And then I
about
guess
managing my chaos, and
exactly,
I know how to do that.
exactly. And the last thing I want people to know about me is if I jump ahead of you and I do something for you or prepare something for you, it doesn't think that I don't think you're capable or you can't accomplish it or do it. It's because I genuinely care about you and I'm trying to help without you even knowing, take something off your plate. That's going to be simple for me, but I know it might be a stretch for you because you don't have the time or the bandwidth or whatever. Not because you can't actually do it. So if I jump ahead of you and do something, it's because I genuinely am trying to help you out and I care about you. Probably another Virgo trait, which some people
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
I
is
mean, listen, I think it's a
controlling,
little bit.
but
You have a huge heart. I have a huge
thank
heart.
you, thank
And
you,
Hmm.
thank
so
you.
I do a lot for other people. I mean, I think anybody who listens to this, watches this, who knows me will testify.
Yep.
I'll do anything for anybody.
Yeah,
But I'm not doing it. I used to do it so you would like me. I do it because I can. I do it because I want to. I feel good when I do something for somebody else. But my children would probably tell you, we never had to make a decision because mom did it all. And
that's a
that
Virgo
was
mom.
me managed incorrectly, inefficiently. That was me managing my chaos. If I do it, I know the outcome. If they do it, I might have to manage that chaos. So I made a lot of mistakes with that growing up. I was very young when I had kids, but
You and
yeah,
both. Yeah,
Nice.
I will say this though before you tell your three things. Sizzy, when you talked about doing everything for others to manage the chaos, do you think it also has something to do with a thing of hyper independence because of the way you grew up?
Sure. I mean, I think we all have one very specific recipe that we came in with all the experiences and then our genetics and then, what our soul wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think I became hyper independent for a million different reasons. Um, but yeah, I think it is a little of that too.
Okay. I think it's a little bit that for me. I mean, I blame a lot on the Virgo stellium, but I think my upbringing too, in the way my home was. No shade on my parents; they did the best that they could. I love you guys.
Yeah,
Um,
mine did too.
but yeah, the hyper. I think the hyper independence has a little bit to do with it too. The PSTD from the childhood things that you had to deal with that were out of your control and probably out of your parents' control too. So yeah, okay, it was a quick question.
Okay. So three things about me is I was raised in Central Maine, but I absolutely loathe seafood and I've never been skiing. I know better than to slap two. I hate seafood. I hate all seafood.
Oh, bring it.
But I actually grew up among lobster. So yeah, that. Um, I sorry, I should have written this shit down, and I even had it in my head too. Because okay, there's a clumsy as fuck, clumsy as
Aren't
fuck.
we all?
Dude, no,
No.
no, like I mean, like there's clumsy, but I've never. I broke my foot once, but I had a doctor just dispute that. Neither here nor there. So I almost never broke a bone. Um, broke a bone. There we go.
Dude, I
Um,
sprained my hand a month ago because I fell on it. So I've been.
dude, I got fun fact. Fun fact. I thought I had carpal tunnel, but I actually had tennis elbow. That's. I think I just
Cause
told
you
you that
fell?
story too.
Cause
Mm-mm,
you fell?
no,
Oh.
mm-mm, no, no, because I'm me.
Oh,
This was
okay.
years ago, but yeah, no. But I thought I had carpal. Yeah. Anyways, um, and what my even through my 20s, my like fantasy like career of what I wanted to be was a hairdresser, makeup artist, nail tech. Um,
Creative.
Hmm.
yeah, that's like because that's to me personally, that's
Are you
where I
serious?
felt. Yeah, that's the
I
only
actually
way
went to
that I.
cosmetology school.
Are you fucking
Okay,
kidding?
here we go, ladies. Here's another coincidence, right?
Straight out of high school, I went
I
to
wanted
I
to do
really,
cosmetology school.
yeah,
I wanted to do hair also.
dude, hair,
I
hair.
never
Fuck out
did.
of here.
I never did, but I wanted to do it. I felt like it was like art and it was
Yeah,
my
it's the
ADD
only
was
way
like
I'm
just
creative. It's the only way I felt
Oh
creative.
my god.
I dyed my own hair. I even now
Me
like don't look
too.
at it, but I
Oh
cut
my
my
god.
own hair. I don't bother letting anybody else do it. I just take it, section it
Wow.
off, and I do my own nails. I won't go to a salon and pay for it.
Can,
I
can,
just
can
won't.
I tell you guys
Yes.
something? So I okay, so I went to cosmetology school straight after high school, and I still had it. And my mom still tried to make me take like regular classes, which is why I dropped out of college after 2 semesters. But that's another story. So high school in Maryland, Kim knows high schools up there, especially PG County. You know, schools are pretty large. So I went to Suitland. Please don't look me up. Kim knows where school it
Yeah.
was. I went to Suitland, and that was a pretty good big school, probably about 5,000 students. Had three different buildings with three different programs. So you had the comprehensive program. These are people going straight out to the workforce. You had the university, people going to college, but then you had the vocational, the trade program. The vocational program included carpentry, auto mechanics. Uh oh, am I there?
Yeah, you're here. You're still here.
Oh, auto mechanics and my screen said cancel or
Oh, dude.
leave. I don't.
Yeah, it's like no. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and cosmetology. So you need your parents' permission for whatever program you're going to go in when you go into a freshman. I had the bright idea. I wanted to do the vocational program so that I could have. I wanted to own my own building where there was a hair salon on one side and an auto garage on the other one with all female mechanics, so you don't get ripped off when you go to get your car
Well,
fixed. That was my dream.
Well, yeah, it's funny you should mention that because my first husband and I had talked about opening up a hair salon on one side and a tattoo parlor on another side because most of my work is actually done by my ex-husband. So, so we
Yeah,
actually
you got
talked
way
about
more
that.
tattoos than I
So
do.
so talking about the weird combo is another coincidence. Yeah.
I hate to say this, but my phone's gonna die. It's the storage. It's the storage. It's I'm just gonna fade out. I'm letting you
Okay.
know. I have
Okay.
100% battery charge,
Yeah.
but it keeps saying low device storage. I'm running
Oh
Yeah.
my
low.
god.
Stop the
Okay.
You almost
recording.
made me
Uh,
choke on my ginger ale.
yeah.
Sorry.
So no,
Listen,
that's
maybe
so
we should tell everybody that we tried for an hour to start this podcast, but me technically challenged me, couldn't open the link or download Chrome or do the goddamn thing.
it's not
So
her
I'm
fault.
using my
I was
phone.
there. I was there being tech support. It's not her fault. So
So
yeah.
I will get that squared away. But if I drop off, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to wrap this up because I feel like that's the perfect way to end this. So, thank you very much for joining us. Our next episode is going to be on what we do daily as spiritual practice,
Yes.
and also what has helped to influence what we do for practices. And yeah, please leave comments,
Yes.
like, subscribe, give us feedback, let us know. Please join us
Yes.
next time. And remember, your energy is the new commodity. So vibe high and spend it wisely.
Hell yeah.
Woo! And thank you.
Thank you. See you ladies later. Good
Bye.
Bye.
Good
night.
night.